That is intense. I like that. Playoffs. How we doing today, Jason?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm just like you, man. We're on the same level now. You're no longer above me, dude. I can actually wake up, go to sleep in the bathroom, wherever I want, make a wager in New York now. So I'm a free man, and I've been balancing DFS with betting now, and it's been good, man. It's been really been good to kind of you take advantage of all these free offers that are just keep on getting thrown. Like Bet Rivers put the Bills at plus 200 to win a game, like that one. And they have so many offers to make free money, and then you get access, and then you can check out the lines across all books. I know you do that pretty well when you point out how bad FanDuel is at times, or this line or that line. And you also got me sweating Keegan Bradley. Haven't watched one hole of golf, but thank
It's
you for
tied for
that.
15th. We're good.
Knock
We're
on
good. We're
wood.
safe.
I think we're good right there, but threw a couple $100 on that. So like it allows you to we always try to hedge or balance our lineups, but I feel like betting allows that as well. Like if you really like Debo Samuel and you can't get him into your lineup, but you think he's gonna have a big game, it just doesn't work with your build, you can go out there and throw a couple bucks on his receiving prop and get some access to Debo. And if you have a bad day in DFS, you can cover it in betting or vice versa. You have a bad day in betting, you can cover it in DFS. And yesterday was good, man. I was actually tied for first in the Wildcat prior to the second game starting, and then that ended pretty quickly. Had all the right guys in that game, had a right stack going, but one little late swap kind of hurt it. But it is what it is. We're back at it with a 3-game slate, and gotta ask you the first question, man. This rain or this wind in Tampa, the over-under was 49.5 when I opened it up to start this week. It dropped to 46. Now I think it's at 46.5. Where are you at with this game? Like how much of an effect is this win going to have? Because Vegas thinks it's a pretty large one.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm more nervous that Leonard Fournette was ruled out. But if you like Tom Brady, I think he's still one of the best plays on this slate. He'd be my number 2 choice. I'm going to be very heavy on Dak, regardless of ownership today. Patrick Mahomes is probably the guy that I'm certainly going to fade, along with Jalen Hurts, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Ben Roethlisberger. It's probably just Dak and Tom for me. But it's not like Tom Brady, chucks the ball like for 50 air yards or anything like that. Like he dinks and dunks. He finds Gronk in the middle of the field. Mike Evans doesn't run super long routes, so I don't think it matters a whole lot if you like Brady. You play Brady because of the touchdowns, and that's likely what they're going to do in the red zone with no Fournette and no Ronald Jones. I don't know. I just don't like that game a ton, just because I'd rather go. There's one game that is 100% safe of weather. That's in the Dome. It's got the highest total on this slate as a whole for the whole weekend, and that's San Francisco and Dallas.
Yeah, that game lines up perfectly. And going into this week too, I'm like, Dallas is going to make a run. I was talking to Meltzer and Sia about it last week, saying, Dallas has a really solid team, but this matchup is like brutal for them as far as like defensively, where I think this game can be a shootout back and forth. I do have it as the highest game of this day on Sunday, not including the Monday night game. It's the best game to watch. It's the closest game that's going to be, going back and forth. I expect like the Cincy Raiders game, but with more points, with an extra 20 points on top. That's what I'm kind of seeing out of this game. Everybody's playable. I hit some Zeke props. What do you think about my Zeke props? I got Zeke over rushing yards, Zeke over receiving yards. Forgot what I got him at, but I can pull it up. How are you feeling about Zeke today? I know you have a little love for him.
Yeah, he's actually locked in all of my lineups. I'm in that 4-man game changer this week, and it's probably going to be like 2 versus 2 because I think everybody's going to play Dak, CD. I'm assuming everybody plays Goddard or Gronk. So my way to get different in that lineup was just playing Claypool, who we'll talk about in a little bit. And then, Zeke Elliott. No one's going to play Zeke Elliott now. I guess, your running backs are going to be for sure Darrell Williams and Eli Mitchell on this slate, just because now that Leonard Fournette's out, everybody's going to those two. And I'm fine with that as well. I guess the one with the most downside, in my opinion, is Eli Mitchell, just because he doesn't catch the ball. But I'm having a hard time fading them and Najee Harris. So everybody's going to play those 3. So the way to get different is to play Zeke Elliott, in my opinion. So I'm a little torn because Tony Pollard is certainly going to play. He didn't play last week, but what's your thoughts on Tony Pollard? His props are not I'll answer your Zeke question shortly after, but Tony Pollard's props are just like right behind Zeke Elliott. So I know he sat out last week. In my opinion, that's because his foot was not right. And how are you playing at 100% with a torn plantar fascia? But that's the one thing that scares me is Tony Pollard. And why did they
Are you
rest him last
asking
week?
are you asking me if I want to play Tony Pollard, or are you
No,
asking me
no.
am I fearful of Tony Pollard taken away from Zeke?
Yes, that. Why did Tony Pollard sit last week, but Zeke got a full workload? Until it was an absolute blowout.
Yeah,
Naturally.
blowout hurt, saving him. But I think Zeke, on the prop side, I think he's pretty damn safe. He's 48.5 rushing yards, 16.5 receiving yards, a couple dump offs here, a couple of dump offs there. I think he gets there. For DFS, I would lock Mitchell. I think Mitchell is a guy that really can't do any harm to your lineup. So I'm locking him. Then it's slim pickings. And I think just from like an ownership perspective, everybody's been burnt by Zeke the entire year. Maybe have one or two good DFS weeks. So nobody wants to click that button. So people are going to feel safer, either going up or going down. And I feel like a lot of people are going to end up taking a shot on Keyshawn Vaughn just because he's so cheap. And his ownership is gonna slide up. And me and C were talking about it yesterday. If this wind is legit and Tom's having a tough time throwing the ball down the field, there's a very good chance Gio comes in and there's some Gio dump offs just to keep this ball moving, because Tampa Bay could struggle to move the ball if this wind is serious. So Gio can slide in and Vaughn can be somewhat of a trap. So Vaughn scares me. So it really comes down to the guys that you mentioned in the middle, and Zeke, Zeke is there, and he's probably gonna fall into the end zone. My only worry when I look at Zeke, knowing that we're most likely playing Dak, can we get enough out of Dak and Zeke? Because you really want Dak to have that 4 or 5 touchdown game in case Mahomes or Brady does. That's the only worry there with Zeke for me. Like, how much can one of them take away from the other one? I think the safest combo is, if you want to just kind of play the chalk and run with it, would be Eli Mitchell and Darrell Williams. That's where I'd probably go if I'm only making one lineup. But, Zeke's an easy way to get different. Are you off of Williams here in KC?
No, he'll be locked in every single lineup.
So
I
you're
have.
debating Eli versus Zeke?
No, I think I'm going to play all three. So if you have 6K or more left on DraftKings, I think the whole world is just going to go up to Najee Harris. No one's going to be confident in playing Zeke Elliott. And the model does have him for 56.9 rush yards. So I think you're relatively safe on that 48.5 number. Zeke has been playing 60% minimum of the snaps over the past 6 weeks. And that's with Tony Pollard getting a lot of work too. So I'm not too worried about that. And the red zone carries do go to Zeke. I think he is minus 120 to score last I looked, minus 125 on some books as well. So my opinion is my whole day is going to be built around that San Francisco Dallas game. And I just want the Dallas offense. They have the highest implied team total on the slate. So when I have Dak, if I go CD or Amari, I'm sure I'll have a lineup with one of either of them as my wide receiver one, maybe both of them in another. But I want Zeke in there too. If the Cowboys score 35, 40 points, I want to cover myself, where the only way I don't have a successful lineup is if Pollard has a big day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Pollard, man. Like the only way Pollard I see go out there and do his thing, and he can always pop one, but if San Fran is up by 14, then the slow pace of Zeke would come out. But if you think Dallas is going to be ahead, kind of like Vegas does, I think it's more of a Zeke day and less Pollard opportunities all across the board. My whole question I want to ask you, first of all, when you said 4-gamer, I stopped listening to you, and I'm like, which contest is Nick in? Like, are you talking 4-gamer like Monday, or like a 4-gamer tournament that's like
Saturday
$10 million?
through Sunday.
All right, I was looking for like the 4-gamer tournament on DraftKings. That was like $10 million that you can win like $100 million, and figured you were entered in one of those big boys. But
no, it's just a 4-man game changer, and I played the fucking Patriots defense.
Yeah, you sucked me into that too. Like I had my lineup. I wanted to go Bills.
I
My
bet the
forwards
Bills
build.
too.
I bet the Bills. I had the Bills. I didn't really want to. I went Renfro Patriots late over Singletary Bills, which obviously did not work out too well. But my question to you, if you're doing this 3-game slate, and you're trying to enter a single entry tournament with like 1,000 people, and then you're also going after the millie. And you roll in Dak as your quarterback. How many pieces from that offense do you want? And then how does Zeke in that lineup affect the rest? Like if you're going for the top, you're going for a win in either of these two tournaments. My question always becomes, and yesterday it worked out fine. I went, even though Mixon didn't have a good game, I went Burrow, Mixon, Boyd, Uzuma, and Chase, and all of them worked out besides Mixon. But like, what's your thoughts on the lineup construction of a 3-gamer going after tournaments, whether it's single entry or a milli maker?
I think you just need to know where ownership's going to be and get different on one or two spots. Unless you just think you'd like to fade that whole situation, I guess is fine too. But
what about like max people in your lineup? Like, what do you think the ideal number if you're running a quarterback like Dak and you're planning to play Zeke? Do you need 2 pass catchers with him, 3, 1? Like, what's too much? What's too little?
oh man, so I've had that same question to myself. I'm okay playing just Dak and Zeke, and that's it, because you never know where Dak's going. Schultz is an awesome target. Cedric Wilson's now coming on. CD Amari. Like, I don't want to be the guy that loses that lineup because I don't have the right stack. And the way that ownership is out there, like, you know, if CD doesn't have a big game and Amari doesn't have a big game and Dak still does, you jump those guys just from avoiding those landmines. So like, I don't, where would you want to go? I think like Debo's an absolute lock for me, no matter what. Chase Claypool is someone that I absolutely love today. But like, if you wanted to go to Deontay Johnson, assuming that Pittsburgh's chasing points all day long instead of paying to Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, or if you could fit Tyreek Hill in there, like, that's, I think, my thought with Dak. My first choice is stacking with CeeDee. And the answer, like, I'd be comfortable with 2 pass catchers and then Zeke Elliott in there. But again, if you've seen it all the time, CD has down game, Amari has a down game, Dak can still go absolutely nuts. So to play like who's going to benefit the most, I think that's what hinders your Dak lineups the most. So I'm going to play him, you know, I guess naked, but with Zeke Elliott in there, because I want the passing game and I want the running game. I want Dallas's offense covered. And unless it just fits perfectly, I don't want to like flip a coin on if it's CD or Amari, because both the outside corners for San Francisco are terrible. You can't just say this is a CD game or it's an Amari game.
Yeah, so you mentioned some other names. So running backs, I'll go back to running backs for a second. So for the player pool, we have a lean on Eli Mitchell, Darrell Williams. Those are the top 2 guys for me. If I'm only picking 2, those are 2 guys I'm getting in there first. And then, you know, ranking down from there, combining ownership, combining ceiling, combining, you know, the games that we like. We're going to lean Zeke 3. And then it's, what do you say? You have Najee 4 and then Keyshawn Vaughn 5, or is Vaughn, like, he's got to be playable at the price tag, but don't expect the world. Like, I'm all about value running backs, and you kind of hate on me sometimes. I'm like, this guy, he's good enough, and these value running backs have been hitting the last couple of weeks. But Vaughn definitely has me worried if this pace is definitely down or this game is tight. So is that how you got the running backs ranked right now?
I think I'd lean Najee Harris over Eli Mitchell just because the pass catching, I'm more of a DraftKings guy, so I want that guaranteed floor, and I'm sure Najee's going to get 4 or 5 catches, especially if, you know, Casey's blitzing a lot of dump offs to Najee there. And again, Mitchell just doesn't get passing down work. So if Mitchell doesn't score a touchdown, he will not be in the Millie Maker lineup. I know he's going to get 20 plus touches.
Don't say those words, man. Don't say those words. I got the Eli scores at any time touchdown with a lot of money on it. So don't be saying those things right now, man. It's too early for that.
I'm just saying, like, that is his downside, is like, or that is his path to success, is he has to score touchdowns. If he doesn't, what is he going to get you? 15, 16 points every, like, no. Le'Veon Bell could get 15 points, but like that's my situation with Sean Vaughn. Like, I don't want to mess with any of that. We could see Gio, we could see Le'Veon Bell. I don't like it. I don't want to play any of those guys. So to me, it would be Darrell Williams number 1. I think I'm going to go Zeke number 2, just because the ownership and the upside it gives you. He could certainly, you know, dud out, but he gets a ton of goal line carries. He gets pass catching work. He's got the highest total, and they got the best offensive line on the slate. So Zeke Elliott's my number 2. I think slight edge to Najee over Eli Mitchell. Okay. And then I would go, I don't know if I want to say Miles
Can't
Sanders
touch.
over
Yeah, you
Keyshawn
can't
Vaughn.
touch any of these
I'm
Philly
not
guys,
playing.
man.
Yeah,
You can't.
and I don't want to touch any running back in that game. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm not playing a Philly or Tampa running back.
So go back to that game for a second, because if we're not going to play Keyshawn Vaughn, and you got Brady projected to score a bunch of points still, you're not really worried about the wind here. And we'll talk the 3-game slate more than a 4-game slate, because I feel like that's where people are going after this million, going after these bigger contests right now. So you have Tom Brady out there, and let's say we fade Brady and we're staying with Dak here. Evans, Gronk are the 2 best guys in this game to target. Are you locking either one of these guys in? Which one you have above the rest? And then are you playing around with any of these wide receivers like a Johnson or a Scotty Miller or Perryman, or you're just sticking to Evans and Gronk?
Gronk for sure. I mean, Philly cannot cover the tight end, and with the wind, anything like that. If you're concerned about the wind, it's going to be Gronk in the middle of the field all day long. And if I had to choose a receiver, I don't mind Mike Evans. Darius Slay doesn't scare me that much, but Tyler Johnson seems to be the guy that Brady trusts. He's getting consistent targets. So there's not like much sexiness to Tyler Johnson, but I think 4 for 40, and you pray he gets in the ball. Like he's like Cole Beasley, I guess, today. So whatever you think of Cole Beasley, I think Tyler Johnson is that. So you probably need the touchdown again, because it's not going to be death by a 1,000 paper cuts of 7, 8, 9 catches. But I do think Tyler Johnson's the safest bet to get to 10 points.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this out there as well. Not anybody you should play in your main lineup by any means, but if like you're dumpster diving around in that 3K range and you need a flex spot, Brate could get into the end zone. Not in love with him. Don't think he's a great play, but I wouldn't be shocked if he gets you 8 to 10 points at 2,800 on DraftKings only. A guy that you might be able to sneak in there. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. But speaking about tight ends now, you got Gronkowski, 6,400. You feel comfortable if you're just picking one to slide him over Travis Kelce, a guy that I also bet the over prop with, because I do think Tyreek Hill is banged up, man. I don't think this guy is 100%. I don't think he's 85%. I think at best, from what I see, I haven't seen him all week, but like he was hobbled and he's not doing much every single week. He can go out there and have a monster game any day of the week, but I think it's going to be more of the Travis Kelce show. So that worries me, fading Kelce, and my only piece being potentially, Williams, or if we go to a guy like Pringle or Hardman. And I don't know if you saw it, but did you see Sia actually wants to play McCole Hardman? So like
about time.
The biggest hater of Hardman, who's been right for 2 years, finally wants to play Hardman. So I feel like we got to look
He's been
that
right
way.
for 1 year and 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Hardman's been good the past 2 weeks. There we go.
Yeah.
Let me take my recent victory lap.
So what's your thoughts on Gronk over Kelce if you had one choice, pretty much the same price, and then secondary pieces out of KC? What's your thoughts on Pringle and Harmon?
I will never make that decision. If it's a single entry, I'm just fading. I will not play Pringle. I will not play Hardman. If you're playing a MME, I think I would lean Hardman, just because the inside routes against Pittsburgh is where I want to go. Okay. But I like that question's just so gross. Like I have absolutely no lean either way. So when that's like my answer is like I have absolutely no idea. I just want them out of my player pool. And gotcha. If they're the ones that kill me, like I'm okay with that, because I didn't have a read. I probably, I would have had to make 2 more lineups just to feel comfortable with getting one or the other. So I'm a fade on all things KC secondary wide receivers, but I would lean Hardman.
Okay, and then with Kelce over Gronk, you have Gronk slightly ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't see how Pittsburgh scores very much. Like, how are they going to keep this game close? They can't play up pace. I just don't see a reason to, unleash Tyreek or Travis Kelce today. I think, sure, both of them could get 15, 20 points, but if they don't have a ceiling game, they're not worth their price.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I'm not touching Tyreek. He can burn me. He can burn everybody. It's just not a spot that I think we need to go to. Kelce is interesting just for the same price. If Tyreek is really banged up, they need to put up some points. It's a playoff game. It's not like they can just, they've been flat before. Look, you have Big Ben in his last game possible, so they're going to be trying to do whatever they can to win this game. It's a fair price at 6,700. I don't think it's not where you're talking 8K, 7,500. He's been quiet, but he can also go out there and have a big game. And the win kind of concerns me with Tampa Bay, because if Pittsburgh can't score against KC, I can see ways where Philly can't score against Tampa. You know, Jalen struggles when the conditions are perfect. So I think he's going to struggle when there's 15 to 20-mile-an-hour winds and 30-mile-an-hour gust here. So he's going to be running the ball a bunch to try to keep pace. That's my only worry here. And I agree, though. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to stay in this game for long. So we might see a first half onslaught from KC, and then it just tempers down, you know, throughout the game. So that's the big question mark with KC. That's a question mark with Kelsey versus Gronk. I think it's a tough question. And back to that Harmon Pringle, you know, when I was doing some lineups late last night and talking to some people in Discord at Win Daily, a lot of people are asking about that 4K range, you know, that 3K, that 4K range. I know you mentioned Chase Claypool at the top of the 4K range. What's your thoughts in that range on DraftKings, though? Is it Claypool, Cedric Wilson? Are you finding yourself, if you're in that 3K range or that lower half of the 4K range, where are you leaning?
It would be Claypool, Cedric, and potentially Tyler Johnson, the only three I'm considering. I will not touch Juju at 3K.
Yeah, I know Adam was touting a little Juju there earlier in the week.
I get it. Like, I get the price, but the dude hasn't been tackled in 6 weeks.
Yeah, and the big problem is
I don't want to play that.
Yeah, C was mentioned last night. Like, Washington and McLeod are also involved. Like, he hasn't been on the field in forever. He has to jump both those two guys to get on the field and then be active. I'm sure they're going to throw out some, you know, some gadget plays to get him involved and try to, you know, him and Ben go out there and do some things. But it's a milli maker only type of play at 3K. You know, it's not something that I'm going to try to force in too hard. But it's a play that's out there. In that game, though, like in that Pittsburgh KC game, I'm assuming no love for taking a shot in these larger builds with a Ben Roethlisberger. But do you have any interest there, or is it just taking a piece and throwing out one wide receiver or Najee Harris to kind of go at garbage time in KC?
I mean, I like Freiermuth, obviously. Like, why are the tight ends so cheap? Dallas Goedert's 4,400 in a game where they're going to be chasing points. Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Kittle's under 6K.
Yeah.
Pat Freiermuth is a touchdown machine at 4,200. So I like Pat. Like, I just want guys that are involved in a potential blowout game script. So that would be Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. I mean, Najee Harris fits that narrative as well. I don't know if I want to pay that price for him, especially when we like Zeke a little bit more just for, you know, DFS purposes. We like the less ownership edge there. But I think Chase Claypool scores 2 touchdowns today. That is my guy.
That's a bold call right there, man. Maybe I'll hit that on the book real quick.
When
That'd be some crazy odds.
If you're getting your ass kicked, let's assume KC does whatever they want on offense. I know Pitt will bring a ton of pressure, and that's, I mean, I think Pitt covers, but I think this game just is well under the total. If Casey is doing whatever they want offensively, Chase Claypool is the most talented player on that football field on both sides. I know there's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's fast, but I think the most talented player on that field is Chase Claypool. And if Ben needs to get Hail Marys, you know, quick first downs, he just literally throws him a jump ball. Like, you can't guard Chase Claypool. So I think for the price, he's got the highest upside on the slate. Certainly a low floor, but when I'm thinking today's like 2-on-2. Your lineup, if you have a very successful lineup today and it's a single entry, you're probably having 2 different guys than the guy right in front of you. So I'm getting different with Zeke and Chase Claypool. That is my day.
I like the call on both these guys. You know, at 4,700, if he catches one touchdown, you're pretty much in that safe zone. And if he has either, you know, a higher yardage game where maybe he catches a long one for 30, 40, and he pushes to 100 or 80 yards, you're definitely cruising from there. Last quarterback I'm going to ask you about, Sia mentioned this guy's name last night on Sirius. He was a fan of Garoppolo for the value play. Talk about Garoppolo. Do you see that paying off for GPPs at 5,300? I agreed with him. I said he's the safest of the cheap end, the value quarterback, and I almost prefer him taking a shot on him and getting that real discount over Jalen Hurts, where I think Hurts is going to be a lot more popular. Similar, you know, Hurts has higher upside, but Jimmy's going to be lower owned and in a better pace game in a dome.
I would just ask you, what does Jimmy do to your lineup? Can you really afford that much that much more to where you really like your lineup more than anchoring it with Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Dak Prescott? Like
Yeah,
without
it's a
the
question of
high
getting
price
different,
running backs, like you just I will never play Jimmy Garoppolo. Not on this slate, of course. DeMarcus Ware's back. I think the Cowboys just beat their ass. And Jimmy Garoppolo, no, don't do that.
You think Cowboys win this game easily?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I don't think
Yeah.
I like the thing that what I'd love to see last week is they didn't take their foot off the gas, similar to New England or Buffalo yesterday's, because they have to prep for next week. So Dallas, in order to get to the Super Bowl, is going to have to play shootouts. And if you want to win the Super Bowl, it's probably going to be a shootout. I think Buffalo goes handily to the Super Bowl, and I think the only teams that can play up pace with them is Dallas or Green Bay. So even if this is a blowout, I don't think Dak stops throwing. So I'm fine with that narrative. I'm fine with using Dallas defense paired with Dak Prescott.
There you go, man. So
I'm not playing Jimmy Garoppolo though. No.
Yeah, I think look for if you're making 10 lineups, I don't mind having them in one. I'm definitely going to lean Dak first. Mahomes probably second. Get a shot of Brady. Probably get a shot of Jimmy G. You mentioned you like the Cowboys in this game from a betting perspective. Let's do a quick, brief look at all the bets that you like. I'll go over the ones I like as far as props go. I went 3-1 yesterday.
Nice.
Then threw in a super live one that you jinxed me on. Thanks a lot, bro. My Devin Singletary. Shut that one down because they decided to just keep on throwing touchdowns to linemen and whoever else caught a touchdown late in that game.
That game was so funny. It literally just became practice for Buffalo. They're like, all right, let's work on some stuff while we have this ass.
It was nuts, man. Like, it was impressive to score a touchdown on every single drive, man. 7 for 7. I don't care who you're playing against, but to do that in a playoff, like, everybody shits on Josh Allen a lot, but the dude is like, he can run better than everybody else because when he runs like powerfully. Like, I don't worry about him getting hurt when he runs. And then he's throwing from every single angle, and he's got one of the strongest arms downfield. He's reading the secondary well too. Like, he's going to his third look, his fourth look, and everybody slept on that over prop yesterday. Like, oh, he can't throw in the cold. No, he can't throw in the playoffs when he has one wide receiver and it's Cole Beasley and there's nobody else around. Now he's got like that wide receiver core is like with Knox at tight end. That's like 5 or 6 deep. McKenzie and Gabe Davis and then Beasley, and then obviously you got Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders. They are really deep at wide receiver. But looking at today, the props I still got live is Mahomes over 278 yards. I placed that on DK earlier this week. I got the game that we haven't spoke about, Sony Michel over 56.5 rush yards. I got Zeke over 48.5. And then I got Zeke over 60.5 receiving, Debo over 64.5 receiving, Kelsey over 67.5, and then I got Eli Mitchell at -110 to score a touchdown, which I think is pretty safe money. I kept on throwing more and more money on it last night as the night went on. So hopefully that one hits. You kind of worried me a little bit on that one, but how do you feel about those props? Yeah, how do you feel about those props? Anything else that you're loading up on, or any game lines that you feel good about? The best game I like is actually tomorrow. I think the Rams win this one kind of easily. I like the Rams a bunch tomorrow. I think Arizona is slightly broken with no Hopkins and Kyler Murray he's going to have to be a magician tomorrow to win that game. But I think the Rams are set up better. As long as Stafford doesn't throw 3 picks, the Rams should be good. But I like Dallas, but everybody's on San Fran, so it kind of worries me a slight bit.
That should make you feel better. That should make you feel better. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but like guys like see it. I trust. I'm not talking about like the public. I'm talking about people like around me who I kind of trust with betting. They're on the San Fran side, so that worries me a little bit. And I think San Fran does match up well, man. Like they can put up points, and their defense is getting slightly healthier. And then Dallas always, for the last 10 years, been choking a lot too. So that's always in the back of my mind that they could just come out here. Zeke can be sluggish. And this team could just not be as good defensively as, we think they are.
I would say wait to bet that game when you see who wins the coin toss, just like what I did with the Buffalo yesterday.
The coin toss?
Yeah.
What are we looking for in a coin toss? Are we looking for like?
Let me explain. Why the hell? Why? No, Belichick won it and deferred. Why the hell would he let Josh Allen and one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL at home set the tone to that game? Because they can play fast. New England can't play fast. You saw that. They just got their ass kicked by Miami and they couldn't catch up. So I have no idea why he didn't elect to receive. Like, we're going to run 6 minutes down on the clock and punch Buffalo in the mouth. Hopefully they at least get a field goal, but you had to set the tone in that game. Like, we're going to play slow. If you score 7, it's fine because we're going to have a 5-minute drive and keep Josh Allen off the field. The second he elected to defer made no sense to me, and that's when I bet. I think I had to lay like 10 cents more on juice now that Buffalo got the ball, but I was 100%
So
fine
tell
with
me
that.
what I'm looking for, because I do want to bet this game. This is the game I want to watch today. What
Dallas
am I looking
If Dallas
for
gets the
in
ball
stars?
first, it is going to be an absolute rout.
Okay.
They're
So
going to
no
set the
matter
tone in that game.
what, so if the coin toss goes to Dallas and they take the ball, or if San Fran defers, we hammer Dallas. If that doesn't happen, stay away spot. We're
Stay
off the
away.
game.
Yeah, correct. I'm not betting San Fran no matter what because I cannot bet Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. That's
Choke.
like the thing with McCarthy is he's not going to stop passing like McVay did last week. McVay lost that football game. They were up 14-0, maybe even 17-0, I think. And then they started running the ball. They had a 2-minute drill and they literally ran the clock down. They had no interest in scoring when Stafford was like 14-14 at that time.
Since he almost made the same mistake yesterday, making that game a game. Any other games you like? Do you like anything in this Tampa game? Do you like anything in the KC game? Do you like anything in the Rams game tomorrow? Do you like any props that you're kind of out there? Because a lot more people who are listening now are in legal states, and look, there's some good bets to make out there. And everybody listen, make sure like every single day you hop on, especially if you're in a new state like me in New York. They hammered down the over on DraftKings. I think it ended up finishing at 5. It was only $25, but a $25 double up is a $25 double up. Take advantage of these things. That's why, sign up to multiple books. They're all running different things. Like there's one, if you just signed up for FanDuel in New York right now, you can make a $5 bet, and any game this weekend, you can get 30-1 on just picking the money line. So my friend came over on Friday. I had him deposit $10. He put $5 on KC to win at plus 3,000. Like the odds of KC losing is highly unlikely, and now he just took $5 and turned it into 150. So take advantage of all these free pops, all these boosted bets, no-brainer bets that they're putting across the board. But Sticks, you're one of the goats when it comes to the betting. Anything on Tampa? Anything on KC? Anything on the Rams?
Nah, I do like the Rams. I think I'll lean with you there. And you did mention Debo Samuel receiving prop. I think I love that because you said it the other day too. What game was that? Was that the Titans game? When you're like out of nowhere, like Debo's receiving yards were so high that day, and you're like, it's been like 49 yards the past 2 games because he was kind of playing running back at that time, and then they just bumped it up to like 59 or 60, like that. You got that prop today. I think Debo is a focal point of that offense today. I think he goes for like 80 receiving yards, 6-7 catches. The model has him quite high. But my favorite prop play is Claypool again. Like that's my guy.
What's his prop at right now?
40.5 receiving yards is on points bet, and you lay a lot of juice there, but it's actually the better number if you compare lines. I think he's 41.5 on DraftKings and
I'm gonna check in the app right now. That's what I love about the app more than pretty much a lot of other things is you can just literally go to player props, type in his name, and then you see it across the board. Yeah, points bet 40.5 and minus 130. It looks like. And then
I got a minus 125 yesterday. So
here's the bet to probably make though. If you're on Caesars, you can get 41.5 at plus 100. So I'm probably just gonna hit it there.
Nice. You guys have Caesars in New York?
Yeah, we got Caesars in New York. We got DraftKings. We have FanDuel. We have Bet Rivers, and then PointsBet and BetMGM drag the ball a little bit, but they should be live like in the next week or so. And a lot of people don't understand. Like, I know it's annoying signing up for these extra sports books, but like, you'd be stupid not to take advantage of the deposit bonuses. And then I always search whoever's got the best line. Like, it doesn't seem like much, but if you keep on hitting bets at plus 100 versus minus 110 over the long haul, that's the difference of actually being profitable. And it's tough to be profitable in sports betting, so you might as well take advantage of the better line. So I'll ride with you on this Claypool bet. Anything else you got props on?
Not really. Not at the moment.
All right. Any golf props you got on anybody, or just the Keegan Bradley riding out into the sunset?
I got a Hideki Matsuyama ticket at 18-1, so that would be nice.
How's he
If
doing
he
right
get
now? I
there. But
haven't
yeah,
followed outside of
he's in
Kiki
second.
Bradley. He's in
He's 2
second. All
strokes
right,
off.
man.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to that. Are you playing the Sunday slate right now, or are you just playing the Sunday Monday?
Now I'm playing the Sunday as well. But yeah, my main lineup was that Saturday, Sunday, just the night game. So I started off with a 0 from Patriots defense. So thank you to the Belichicks for having 0 game plan.
We're
And
lucky we only got 0, bro. Like
I know it should have
it
been
could have been
negative.
like
Should have been negative.
negative 17. That's what they really deserve because they got smoked so badly. Like take the 0 and move on. But yeah, that's definitely rough. Yeah, man, appreciate you. Any last words? Any last plays? I don't know how you and Nick usually do this, but you want to go with your top quarterback, your GPP
Yeah.
quarterback. I
Well,
think that's how you run it. You run the show,
yeah.
man. You do this and
See
get
if
us
we
out
had
of here,
any
man.
questions. See if we had any questions real quick. Best player to stack with Dak. See, I've struggled with that. All of us have, right? Lamb, Cooper, Wilson, Schultz. I don't know. I think personally, if you can make a lineup with if you like Zeke, I don't want to talk everybody into Zeke. It certainly could be a landmine, but Jason and I both like that. It's very low ownership. Best offense on the day, in my opinion. I would just go Dak and Zeke and don't even have to make the decision of who to pair him with.
If I had to pick between those, I think Cooper would be less owned between him and Lamb, so I would probably go Cooper there. And the safest play is go with the cheaper guy in Wilson, and hopefully he just goes out there and gets you 12 points, and you don't have to worry about a potential. Like Lamb has been ghost, like he's been just not out there doing anything the entire last 3 or 4 weeks. He barely broke 10 points. Where if Cooper's been getting more targets, being more involved, so I would lean Cooper just because Lamb is still the popular guy. And then if you just want to play it safer, I think Wilson at that discount. And I think the highest upside guy is probably going to be Schultz because he's going to be a guy that nobody plays because everyone's like Kelsey's too cheap, Gronk's too cheap, or Goddard or Freiermuth. Like you said, there's so many good tight ends. And one other thing I'll throw out there is I don't think it's a bad play at all going 2 tight ends. Like one of these 4K tight ends is probably better than a lot of these 4K wide receivers that you're taking a big shot on as like a wide receiver 3 or something like that.
Yep.
So next question, Eli Mitchell or Darrell Williams. I got them both locked. Like,
yeah, I want them both.
It's going to be tough to get them out of my lineup. I think they're the 2 safest guys. I'm betting Eli Mitchell props, and I think Williams is just going to be involved on both sides of receiving and, catching, running the ball and scoring some touchdowns as well. So I agree with that. Any other questions you see here?
We got Brian's lineup. Patty, Zeke, Vaughn. I don't like Vaughn, but Hill, Debo, Juju, Goddard, Kelsey. I think if you play Patty, you probably do double stack, right? You just go all in and leverage the 70% Darrell Williams. I don't even know if there is leverage just because Tyreek is so popular and so is Kelsey. But
I'm shocked Tyreek is popular, man. Why do you think he's popular? Just due to price?
Yeah, and because there's no expensive running backs, so you could fit 2 stud wide receivers.
Yeah, I feel like he's hurt, man. But I can never tell how badly he is hurt.
Yeah, what was it? A heel issue last week?
Yeah, and it looked like he was playing. I don't even know why he was playing in that game if he was that banged up and they're trying to win a Super Bowl. But he like on certain routes or certain times he was trying to block. It was just like he was not just it was a heavy limp. So it kind of worries me, but it can be, any day of the week it can happen. This weather still concerns me in Florida, man. It really does. And I'm gonna, before I lock my lineups, definitely go check out some weather reports down in Florida and see how bad it really, really is. Because if we're seeing like Buffalo type winds, then it's going to be, for the most part, a thing that we have to adjust down to. Gronk's still in play, but maybe I think one thing I want to ask you, Nick, best defense, is it Tampa Bay for you or is it KC if you had to pick one, same price?
I would rank them, Tampa by a nose, I think. And then Dallas, then KC, and then I think Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's just super cheap. They're not very good, but they're going to get, sacks. So they're not going to go negative and go Patriots on you.
Yeah. No, I like the KC call too. I think KC's I would split it up 50-50 on both sides there. If you're making multiple lineups.
AZ and Rams. See that's why I went Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday only. I don't want to have to deal with Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, it was so nice throwing Debo in
him.
without messing with Cooper. I said that yesterday on Sears. I'm like, it's so nice not having to make a choice between Debo and Cooper, because I really want Debo, and it would have been tough if Cooper's there. I think it is Cooper, and then it's Sony Michel on the Rams side. On the Arizona side, there's already so many tight ends there, but Zach Ertz is definitely in play. Outside of Zach Ertz, Sia was kind of excited if Connor does play, he could be in a good spot, but he's kind of banged up too. Arizona worries me overall, though. If you got any plays on Arizona, are you taking a shot if you're playing the Sunday money on a Christian Kirk, AJ Green, any of those guys?
No.
Yeah, me either. I'm off that game. Outside of Michelle and Cooper Cup, that's where I would go. And if you want to take a
I like
flyer on
Odell.
Odell, yeah, if you
Yeah, I
want to
like
take a flyer on
Odell.
Odell, he's definitely in play. Brian saying Gio officially confirmed. He could be sneaky, man. I
When's the last
wouldn't
time
go
he
there.
played?
I wouldn't go there in any of my first 5 to 6 lineups, but like if you're in a flex spot and you just need somebody in that range, I can see it. I can definitely see him catching 5 or 6 balls, especially if it's windy out, and especially if this game is close late. You know, he'll be in the game trying to put up points and move the ball. So I think it's sneaky on DraftKings. I wouldn't go there on FanDuel at all, though. So,
All
Nick,
right.
you want to close out with these top plays?
Yep. We'll just go one per position. So favorite quarterback for me, obviously Dak Prescott. I'm assuming same for you.
Yes, sir.
Running back, because what it means to the slate, I'm going Zeke Elliott.
I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm going to go with Eli Mitchell, but I think Darrell Williams is the guy that we're both still going to have in our lineup. So
Yeah, you lock him in.
Yeah, on FanDuel, go all 3. On DraftKings, you can probably just go all 3. And just make sure you throw the latest game in your flex spot.
Yep. It's very likely. That's a good point. It's very likely you have a dupe lineup with somebody else today. So always keep your last guy or late guy in the flex in case you got to pivot. Unless you want to tie with somebody, then by all means take a tie. But something I would never do. So that's on these weird small slates. That is very possible that you have the same lineup as somebody else. So there you go. Wide receiver, Chase Claypool.
That's a tough one for me. Easy answer is going to be
Gotta
Debo,
be
but
Debo,
easy answer is Debo. But if we're going to throw somebody else out there from a wide receiver position, just for Sia, this is just for Sia. We'll go with some Pringle Harmon. Just for him, I think value-wise, he has a high ceiling. If he's more involved and Tyreek is kind of banged up, I think you can slide him in at a 3K range. I don't want to play any of those Philly guys, so if I'm stuck in a 3K, take a shot on Hardman or Pringle.
Hardman. There we go. About time he came around. Tight end.
Let's see him, man.
Tight end's tough for me because I most likely can only afford in my main lineups today Goddard or Dalton Schultz. What's your answer to that one? Just Goddard or Dalton Schultz? Like Goddard seems so much more safer, but Dalton just does it every single week. And again, I feel like when in doubt, I just want to go to the game that I like more and just play Dalton Schultz.
I don't have the same love for Goddard as you do. I don't know. That game just worries me overall. For whatever reason, I'm not in love with that game. I don't think it's a game that I think it can go a lot slower. And this wind is bothering me, and I'm not a big fan of, Hurts throwing the ball. Goddard's got a prop at 54.5, so he's slightly, I would say, safer, but I think Schultz has more of the upside, even though Schultz is a 41.5 prop. But you mentioned Freiermuth too, man. I think he can be involved. Tight end is so deep. Like, I don't want to make that decision, and I probably just prefer going Gronk or Kelsey and trying to find a way to get in that 6K range over the 4K guys.
Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah, Gronk would be my choice if salary was not an issue, but I think Dalton Schultz at sub 10% ownership on this slate or Pat Freiermuth. Like, those guys should certainly take a look. Like Dallas Goedert at 40% owned. Is that really going to win you a GPP? I don't think so, guys. So just maybe that's your one spot of getting different. If you don't like Claypool or whatever, I wouldn't convince you to play Claypool by any means. But I think if your lineup ends up with a chalk tight end of Dallas Goedert, you probably limited your upside a ton. Would you agree there, Jay?
Yeah, I'm off Goddard. Like I was never really big. I played him a couple weeks when, the matchups were good. I'm not saying his matchup is bad, but I'll take the higher upside. Schultz is involved in the red zone ever since, whenever there was just two wide receivers and Dallas was missing that third wide receiver, whether it was Cooper, Lamb, or Gallup, Schultz was the guy that, like, third down, you need 6 yards, Schultz. Red zone, you need a touchdown, Schultz. He's scoring touchdowns. He's getting targets. Last game out, 2 touchdowns against Philly. Prior to that, 10 targets, 9 targets, 8 targets. So I think Schultz has a higher upside here. And I just like the game flow and the game script of this game a lot more than Philly. Philly's only projected to score 19, and they might not even get there if this weather's a real situation. So I'm going to go with you on Schultz, man.
Yep. All right. Defense. I'm going to go Bucks, but Dallas is my second choice.
Yeah. I'm not going Dallas. I don't see that paying out. I don't know. I don't know where you see that, coming out, especially
Marcus
if you like
Ware's
that.
back. And how do I see that? What do you mean? Jimmy Garoppolo. That's how I see that.
Yeah, but we like this game. Look, they would have to score a touchdown, right?
Yeah. No, I
they
don't
would
think
have
they
to
have to
score
score a touchdown.
You don't think so? I don't know. I would stick to KC. Look, Ben's going to, like, so this is what happens in KC and why I have a potential slightly into KC over Tampa Bay. Ben's not that Philly's going to give up earlier, but Ben is not giving up at all. So you're going to get 4 quarters of Ben trying to sling it. He can't move back there. So you're going to get like 4 or 5 sacks. And he's just going to, every throw is going to be a YOLO throw. Like, my career is over. I'm just going to throw every shot I can take. I'm going to take it. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to pick off balls, sack him. He's not going to go down easy. So there's going to be some fumbles there too. And I think Tampa Bay side, the win could help Tampa Bay, but we could just see a lot of Jalen Hurts running the ball, a lot of Miles Sanders and that whole team running the ball. So might not be as many opportunities for takeaways. So I have a slight lead in KC. I think they're going to, I said it last night too. Jimmy, for them to win this game, Jimmy needs to play like a Trent Dilfer. Like, just simple throws, get the ball to Debo, run the ball, and just stay everything away from like these opportunities. If he doesn't throw a pick, San Fran's in this game. So I lean KC, and then if I can't get to KC, try to get to Tampa. If I can't get to either of those two, Dallas worries me. I don't know. That defense can be picked apart too, and San Fran has the weapons to do it.
Yeah, I'm with it. All right.
I'll take a shot on Philly over Dallas, I think.
Philly over. What do you think? What does Philly do? Brian, you're still on here. What does Philly do good defensively? They don't generate pressure. They don't get picks. So you're saying that for them to be successful, it's because Brady scores 17 points and that's it.
Yeah, a lower scoring game. It's a lower scoring game, a safer game, where I think Dallas needs not a pick six, but they need to do something with the turnovers. Where Philly, a ball can bounce the right way. You got Slay back there. You got some playmakers there. A ball bounces the right way. This wind is crazy. They pick up a ball, run for 6. But I'm thinking just lower scoring game, safer floor, get you like 5 to 7 over getting. Not to say that the Cowboys are going to go out there and get a 0 like the Patriots did last night, but that's the only thing that kind of worries me a little bit.
That's fair.
All right, man. I think we're out of here. Good luck in your contest. Good luck in your bets. Good luck in your Hideki props and all that kind of good stuff, man.
We'll be in Discord. Bradley.
Keegan Bradley. We're safe, though, right? Are we safe or no? Are we in the safe zone or is it too early?
There's 2 holes with water, and Keegan Bradley loves placing the ball in the water on Sundays. So
get the fuck out of here.
We're as safe as we can be until.
Is he in contention where like he's going to try to go for it, or is he going to be happy just placing like 15th in this tournament and we're good?
No, he's going to play to win. He's only 5 strokes back, I think. Like anything could happen.
When's the stuff? When's he tee off? Like 5 o'clock?
Your time, I believe, yes, right around 5. So we got night golf too. Get 2 TVs today. Enjoy the night game, and then watch some golf when KC routes Pittsburgh. But and then remember, Dallas. We bet if they win the coin toss. We bet big.
All right. Text me when you're watching that coin toss. I don't know if I'm gonna be live for the coin toss, man. So text me if you got some bets there, man. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll be in Discord. Stay on top of those props. Stay on top of these games. There's a lot of ways to hedge and take advantage of these free offers for these sports books. If you're in New York, like me and Rocker and a couple other guys are, Take advantage of them. Sign up to all the sports books. And if you're in places like Illinois, where Sticks is at, you got some books out there. Shop your best lines. Check out the Sharp app and check out Nick's projections, for these games. And everybody have a good rest of your weekend. And we got football tomorrow too, man. Some of these, John Jansen was complaining about Monday Night Football playoffs when I was doing the show with him the other day. I'm like, why are you upset? We got another day of football.
Yeah,
the
Monday
week doesn't
suck,
really.
too. Like, what else do you do?
Yeah, like the week now starts on Tuesday. It's a shorter work week. I liked it, but he wasn't a fan of it. He's more of an old schooler, even though he's a young buck. So we'll be doing some more shows.
I guess, right?
Yeah, it's that type of guy, man. That type of guy. So, all right, guys. See you later. We'll be back probably later, maybe tomorrow, breaking down some showdowns for NFL. Nick loves those showdowns, so
always
build some showdown lineups. All right, later,
so
guys.
much of an edge in showdowns. See you guys.